morning and welcome to Street Beat. I'm Amyre Makupson, your host today. Well, good ideas pop in and out of our minds every single day, but sometimes an idea is so powerful that it makes us take action. Today, we're talking to grassroots organizations that saw a need, had an idea, and acted on it. Our first guest today represents a joint effort between three organizations. They saw a need, they pooled their resources, and they took action to help make a difference. And here to tell us all about it, who they are, what they did, Lorraine Weber, the Executive Director of the Detroit Metropolitan Bar Association Foundation. Lorraine, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here this morning.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
It's called For the Seventh Generation. What is it?
Well, it is an organization that is essentially an online matching system to match needed goods and services with children and families in foster care. It's a joint operation headed by the Detroit Metropolitan Bar Association Foundation, but in partnership with the Department of Human Services and the Third Judicial Circuit Court. So we're working with kids in care.
Okay, so the idea then is I have needs, be they crib, bed, whatever, come to you online, and then you see how you can go to your resources to fill my need.
Exactly. And we have the ability for both referrers, people who have kids who have needs, to ask us for resources, and also for providers to go online and to say, hey, I've got a bed, I've got a car seat, I've got clothes, I've got a dentist who'll be willing to provide braces. And those two things, it's almost like a wedding registry.
Wow, that's great. You must have all kinds of requests, I'm imagining.
We do, and if you go on our website, you can find the list of needs that workers and jurists and attorneys have all asked for children.
Well, what are, assuming that you have tons of them, what are your most common ones, or are there?
Well, there are some common ones, and those we make special efforts for. One of the significant needs we have are for beds. Oftentimes, children are removed from biological homes, not necessarily because they've been abused, but because there are a lack of resources in the home, like appropriate beds for children to sleep in. The bed fund that the Department of Human Services has only goes so far. And if they cannot get a proper bed or a proper crib, they'll have to remove the child to a foster care facility or to a foster home until that bed can be provided. So we've developed a number of grants with a number of grantors, TJ Maxx, Ronald McDonald House, to help us provide beds. And currently we've provided over 100 beds and cribs to children this year.
Now, can private people, the kids have grown up, can they contribute as well, or do you have to go through?
Absolutely. If you go online, you can see an easy way to set up an account and just indicate what you have available. Even if we don't have a request for it, a worker can go in and look at what's available and perhaps say, oh, I have a child that could utilize that. So we're anxious to receive pretty much anything that the community is interested in donating. We have a physical place called our help closet that collects the goods that we're donated. So clothing, toys, household goods, any kind of thing that people can actually come in and see. Free of charge. They come in as long as they have an active case in the Detroit metropolitan area. We can make provisions for them to receive things from our help closet.
Okay. You know, when people really need things, and sometimes we get so into our own little spheres we don't realize or see or understand. I'm working my way around to, you must have had several stories where it really made you feel good to fill these holes. What is one of your most memorable experiences?
Well, there are three instances that have really touched me. One is a young woman who was a special needs child who, because of providing orthodontic care to her, she ended up being an honors graduate from school and graduating from college. A second is a young man who was in residential care for his entire early teens, and a foster care mother took him into her home, and he had never been able to go with them to her family in Florida, and we were able to fund a trip to Florida for him, and also to go to Universal Studios. And the final one was we sponsor a holiday bazaar, and we had a young 13-year-old who came in, and she was leaving. We let them get gifts for others, and she was leaving with that but nothing for herself. So I took her kind of behind the magic curtain and said, what would you like? And she picked out a lava lamp, and as she left, she said, You know, my stepfather broke the lava lamp that I had in my home, and I never got another one. And I knew that there was a story behind that the lava lamp meant a lot to her. And I received a wonderful letter from her later on explaining why it was so important to her.
Wow.
So you never know. You know, a lava lamp can be the most important thing a child receives. And for these children who are removed, it is significant that someone takes an interest in them and that they feel that they can have access to what we say is do more than just survive, that they get to thrive in some way.
And sometimes something so little means so much.
Yes.
No idea.
Yes, and things like braces that we take for granted to give to our children. We're in a partnership with the U of D Dental School to provide braces to our permanent wards. And that makes all the difference in terms of what they can do in school.
Give me your website, how people can get in touch with you.
fortheseventhgeneration.org. It's all one word, no letter, no numbers.
FOR.
And FOR, the seventh generation. And it's very easy to follow, to set up an account and to let us know if you'd like to make donations. We can take goods, we can take services, we can take money, we can take volunteers. So anything anybody wants to do.
Okay, Lorraine, thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Morning. Now, for more information, visit fortheseventhgeneration.org. Coming up next, a creative way to expand your horizons. Welcome back to Street Beat. Sometimes creativity can be used to get ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Our next guest has found a way to do exactly that. Joining us now is Shaun Nethercott, the founder of the Matrix Theater Company. Shaun, welcome to the show. I'm really glad to have you here because I love theater and it's just exciting. I'm familiar with your company. You guys do some phenomenal things.
Well, thank you very much. We're happy to be here. You know, we've been doing phenomenal things in Southwest Detroit since 1991.
Wow. Who are you? You're not just kids, right? I know you are kids, but...
Actually, you know, we really do kind of cradle to grave. The School of Theater starts with kids at age 5, and we work with them till age 20, and they write, produce, perform, create all their new plays from scratch. We specialize in a collective playwriting process. So over the years, more than 120 plays have been written and produced by young people in Southwest Detroit. We also have the Matrix Theater, which is an adult professional theater, which has a full season of 3 shows. And then we have a second season, which is where our experimental, community-based, and youth programs. So we have something kind of constantly working with people from the very youngest to elders.
Always going on. So it really is 2 separate entities?
No, it's one entity, but 2 major programs.
Uh-huh. And so how do you get kids who are interested, I'm kind of going down to the younger people, interested in, you know, everybody, I assume everybody kind of wants to act and be on stage and be the center person, but for kids who are interested in writing or producing or other aspects, how do you find them?
Well, the thing is that we go out actively to all sorts of schools. We're in very many schools. You know, we serve about 1,200 kids a year.
Uh-huh.
And of those, about 200 come to Matrix Theater itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 1,000 are out in the community all over the city of Detroit. And so very often kids will get excited in our school-based programs and then find their way to Matrix Theater. And what they find is most kids come in thinking they want to act,
Mm-hmm.
but then we have such an active and creative way of collective playwriting, which brings everybody into the process. It has a lot of improv, a lot of creative dramatics, and it's very fun. And one of the cool things, one of the great stories I want to tell is that we just had a group of our 6 teenagers out of 26 that are active in our program who went to the National Minority Student Exchange national event in Ypsilanti. Our 6 students led 250 students in the creation and performing of new plays that day.
Wow.
That day. So these are kids who have an enormous amount of poise, who really understand what it is, not only to write, but to lead. Mm-hmm. It's very powerful.
And so, but basically, you go to the schools and you talk about what you do and...
We run programs in the schools.
Uh-huh.
And so that what we do very often is an art-infused program. So say you're in a math class and you don't really, you know, you're finding math a little confusing, but there's ways to use theater to teach math, to teach science, to teach literature. And then, of course, those kids who really spark, they often end up coming to the more in-depth 60-session program that takes place at Matrix through school.
You know, here's the thing, too, what a lot of people don't know. Theater is so helpful in so many different ways. Kids work through conflict resolution. They do things like that they get through theater that they don't get other places. For people who don't think that the arts are important in school settings or in any kind of setting, they don't know. They're not informed.
Well, I think that's actually, you're tuning into the actual core of what Matrix is has a very unusual mission, because we use theater as a tool for social transformation. And so through the course of many, many, many years, organizations have come to us, and whatever the issue or whatever the concern is, everything from lead poisoning to drunk driving to, you know, teen dating violence to, you know, what is the vision for the city of Detroit, and asked us to use theater as a means to get people talking, thinking, sharing.
Because it works.
Absolutely. It's very powerful, it's very fun, and so for us, the theater is the tool by which we, you know, build the community we want to live. So I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that we've got a show at our theater this weekend closing called Rapture, Blister, Burn, and it's a kind of post-feminist comedy about gender relations. Very, very funny. We've got our showcase of our children's show at the same time, and then next week we're planning for a big community event called the Holiday Fest.
Okay, you got a lot of stuff going on all the time. Before we run out of time, you can make donations to your organization.
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
You can go directly to our website, www.matrixtheater.org, and there's a place you can donate online. And there's always a place for people to come in, not only as donors, as actors, as writers. A next big project we're doing is dealing with the issue of mass incarceration. We've got a play called King's Row, which goes up in January, which came out of all kinds of community stories about what is happening to the many, many young men who are coming back into our communities.
You're dealing with real situations
Absolutely.
in these real communities. Well, it's great to meet you. Good luck, continued success to you. And I'd love to come see some of your productions.
Oh, I'm sure you'd enjoy it.
Thank you, Shaun. Well, Street Beat will be back for more information. First of all, on Matrix, go to matrixtheater.org. Matrixtheater.org. Coming up next, Detroit young professionals lead the way to success. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Street Beat. I'm Amyre Makupson. You know, downtown Detroit is one of the hottest locations in the country right now, believe it or not. Investors are buying up property and companies. They're moving their businesses to the inner city at a breathtaking pace. Our next guest represents an organization that is welcoming these new professionals to Detroit and encouraging them to stick around for a while. Joining me now is Karissa Holmes, board chair for Detroit Young Professionals. Karissa, welcome to Street Beat. It's good to have you here. You know, there's some people who might hear me say, oh, the businesses and people are coming in Detroit at a breathtaking pace, and they'll say, oh, no, they just don't want to believe it. You tell it.
It's true. From what we're hearing from our members, there is always a wait list for places to move into, and people are looking for, you know, employers that are located downtown so they can take advantage of the nightlife opportunities now. Which
areas are you looking for people to live in? I hear Midtown is also very hot right now.
Midtown and Brush Park, Corktown, the surrounding neighborhoods for downtown. And really right now we're just waiting for the development to come so that there's space for people to move into.
People are, Dan Gilbert and Illich family, I mean, they're buying things up really like hotcakes and encouraging other people to do the same. Apparently that's going pretty well.
Definitely, definitely. I personally took advantage of the movement, and I live downtown myself, and I love it.
Do you see young people, middle-aged people, old people, just it's a mixture? Or?
Yes, definitely. The demographics are certainly becoming more mixed now, and that's part of the reason why DYP is, you know, going towards helping young professionals get more integrated into the community.
So what do you do to encourage people or to encourage people to move downtown or get involved or at least come take a look and see what's going on?
Yeah, well, DYP provides civic engagement, professional development, and networking opportunities. So that's how we encourage young professionals to get involved, is to show them how they can get involved in their community and make a difference.
Is it more than just living opportunities that you get involved with and talk with young professionals? And where do you find them?
Well, definitely. Our primary focus is to provide outlets for young professionals and entrepreneurs to get engaged with their community. So we have partnered with organizations such as Forgotten Harvest and Gleaners and Greening of Detroit to get our members involved in those organizations. We also want to connect our members who are emerging leaders with existing leaders. So we've invited, business, social, political leaders to come talk to our organization. And then lastly, to create an environment that young professionals would like to live in, we host social events such as happy hours or events at the Tiger Stadium. And, that's our contribution to helping Detroit be more welcoming.
How many people do you have involved in that? And it's obviously way more than living. It's
Definitely, definitely. So our network, we have just over 400 members that financially contribute to the organization. But our network in terms of who we connect with on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, it's upwards of 30,000 people.
Wow. Do they have common interest, I guess, for the most part? Or
They have the common interest of wanting to grow personally and professionally and make a difference in their community. But we have people that are in all different types of industries in our organization.
And so they share their experiences as the others do, and then you have a broad network.
Exactly.
Network
Yep.
there. Wow. What do you think? Sometimes it is a little difficult to make people think that wonderful things are happening, and they are. What do you think your organization could be very helpful in terms of taking that message around and linking in and bringing in new people?
Definitely. We are just trying to do a better job of showcasing the great things that are happening in Detroit. So DYP has a weekly newsletter that we send around, and we always try to highlight community events. One of the big things that we highlighted recently is all of the wintertime events that are going on in downtown and midtown.
A lot of people don't know.
No. So, that's our way of helping people to stay informed with what's going on in the city.
So do you do that mostly through social media?
Yep, social media,
Networking?
and then we have our website, and we also have a weekly newsletter that gets sent around via email.
Now, if I'm interested in joining and I become a part of your organization and I have something I want to share, I have access to that as well?
We are going to be instituting an online member database in mid-January, and that'll be a great opportunity for members to share that kind of information.
Is that like 90+% of how you share your information is through, boy, what would you do without?
I know, right?
It's always hard to even think about it. Now, what's your website?
Our website is detroityp.org. And we are also on LinkedIn and Facebook just search for Detroit Young Professionals. And then via Twitter and Instagram, our handle is @DetroitYP.
Okay, Karissa, thank you very much. Continued success to you, because that's exactly what we need. We've got wonderful things happening, and people need to know about it. That's what you're doing, so thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much for
it.
having
Thank you for
us.
being on the show today. You can visit DetroitYP.org and do that for a lot of helpful information. And we're going to show you how to run this town right after this. Welcome back to Street Beat. Good to have you here. Exercise leads to a longer life and a lot of healthy things, but sometimes when you're trying to advance your career, it's pretty hard to find the time to work out. Our guest today has found a way to do them both at the same time. Joining me now is Armond Harris, the co-founder of Networking Out, LLC, and the Networking Out Foundation. Armond, welcome to Street Beat. It's good to have you here. Working out is the thing of the day. Everybody does it or wants to do it, and that's what you're all about.
It is. But we all know, Amyre, as professionals, it's tough sometimes to balance that life and healthy living balance, and networking out allows you to do that.
So what do? You get people involved to work out together, or how does it work?
Yes, well, myself and my two other co-founders, Terrence Thompson and Shaun Blanchard, we decided to start a program called Run This Town. And what Run This Town is a community effort to have professionals get together. It started in Detroit on a Detroit Riverwalk, when we all got together and decided to just work out a bit together.
So when you say, do you go to different locations, or are you always Riverwalk? Or?
Well, yeah, we move around somewhat in Detroit, but we also have expanded to other cities at this point. But yeah, we're all around the city.
So what do you do exactly? What do you do?
Well, we start out with the about a 20-minute networking portion, right, to meet and greet with one another. Then we go to an opening stretch, and then we go for a run or a power walk. Our motto there is all about personal best. So you get in wherever you fit in. We have people of all ages, shapes, and sizes who come out and give it their all.
Get in where you fit in.
Get in
That's
where you
pretty
fit in,
good.
right,
You
personally.
know, when you exercise together with somebody, it's a lot more fun, and you're more likely to come and join that. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. If you have a support system, because we know working out can be tough, it can be intimidating, but if you have a support system of 200 or 300 more professionals with you that's encouraging and pushing you to get your personal best on a weekly basis, you're likely to get way better results.
Are you always outside? Do you go to any of these gyms? There are tons of organizations now.
Right. Well, we're
Well,
actually
not places,
indoors.
not organizations.
Yeah, places. Currently, we're indoors at Youthville, Detroit on Woodward. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
also have
In the
partnered-
Boulevard, right?
Yep, on the Boulevard. You got it. We also have partnered up with DPS schools to use some of their facilities at times as well.
Do you involve kids at all, school kids, and boy, they're working out there, as you can see.
Absolutely, yeah. We do have a organization, a program called Networking Out Kids, where we have children come out, or we go to schools to, defeat the obesity problem with children.
Yeah, actually with everybody.
Right,
It's kind of
everybody.
across the board.
Indeed.
People, I find that exercise, obviously it's good physically, but it's just as good and sometimes maybe even better mentally.
Absolutely. And that's what we've learned through the Networking Out model there, Amyre, is that if you get up and you exercise, you feel better about your day, you feel more energized, and it does great things to you, as well as the people who see you living that type of lifestyle. So we understand you get the return back tenfold.
But people don't know that, they don't understand that. And I think if they did, it would make a big difference. And as you alluded to, we have a really big problem with obesity in this country. And not that we're alone, but still it's our problem too.
Absolutely. America is the #1 most obese, most unhealthy place in the world. And what we've designed is the Networking Out mobile application, what helps professionals to better meet that goal of you living a healthy lifestyle at the same time getting work done.
You said mobile application?
Mobile application.
So you can, turn it on and do it at home?
Yeah, I would compare it to a LinkedIn for fitness. So it's that same type of professional network of a LinkedIn, but it allows you to connect with people based off of your personal favorite things to do. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's swimming or golf or tennis. It allows you to connect with other professionals and do that same goal while you're at the same time meeting new people and networking.
So Run This Town, that's the name of it. And you said that Run This Town is in other cities in the country?
Yes, we've expanded to Chicago. We've had events in D.C. We have been in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Ann Arbor. We actually have a on-campus organization at Eastern Michigan University and the University of Michigan, where we also expand the Run This Town movement.
Wow, you're pretty big.
Yeah, we're trying to grow.
Yeah.
Trying to grow here.
So how does somebody get involved? How do I get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to networkingout.com. We have a full calendar of all our different events on there. You can link with us on social media at Networking Out, and all those different portals. We're all over the web. So. And
you have a big age range and.
Yeah, all shapes, ages, sizes. We want to get the college kid to the 10-year-old comes out with their mom. It's an American problem here. We need to defeat this healthy living issue, and we need to tackle it at all ages. So come on and help us run this town, right? Come run this town. You got it, Amyre. Okay. Thank you, Armond. Sounds really exciting. Continued success to you. Thank you. Thanks for being on the show today. Well, thank you for joining us today on Street Beat. If you'd like more information, visit networkingout.org. And that's our show for today. I want to thank all of our guests for coming on the show. We enjoyed talking to them, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday at 8:30 in the morning on Street Beat.